up and it's a pitch, and you can imagine the gravity on the
这
pilots.
个动作就是飞机在起飞以后迅速的上升高度，与其他飞机进行这个汇合。这是具
So
有
this
战
is
术意义的一个
a
起飞动作。
immediate
之
pitch
前王老师在解说的时候也
after
经常跟我们
takeoff,
讲啊，
and
飞机
then
对
it
的
will
很多
rendezvous
动作
with
哈，不单
other
纯是
aircraft,
表
and
演，
this
它
is
都
a
是脱胎
tactic
入
move.
实战的这个空中
对
的动作。所以你会
In
看
later
起来非
days,
常
I
的
was
有
told
力
by
量。
Mr. Wang that a lot of the
今
moves
天这个天气
from
应该
the
说还是
August
不错的
1st
哈，特别是刚才这架
Aerobatic
飞机
Team,
它
they're not just
冲
for
到上面之后，
performance
还
or
加力
demonstration, and they are
加
also
力做一
for
个斜行走，再次迅速上升
military
高度，然后急转
tactic
去
moves.
和另外的五
See
架
that
飞
it's
机进行汇合，变成一个6机编队。
It's
到这
flying
个地方
up
呢，
in
表
the
演的第一个
air,
阶段
and
就
then
结
it
束，
make
起飞的
another
阶段
turn,
结
and
束
it
了。我们可以
will
看到分为3种
meet
形式
the
起飞
other
，3
5
级、单级、一个双级。
aircrafts. So
其中
it
最后一个
will
双机有一架飞机大仰
form
角，
this formation of 6, and you can see that this is how they
今天这个天气也
meet
好哈，蓝天，
family
然后
in
还
the
看到
air.
云朵，这其实是
The
大
last
飞行员
aircraft
绝
is
佳的天气
truly
啊。
stunning because it just made a
好，我们现在看到
drastic
这架飞
pitch
机，它应该是找
in
另
the
外
air.
的5个同伴。好，我们看到了寻找的画面要汇合了，我们来看。
这个时候的这个6号机就现在这个。
All right, the aircraft is meeting the other members of the formation, and it's approaching. I can tell you it's 200 hours per hour. It requires very targeted and precise maneuver in the air. So after this formation is established, it's quite challenging because they are flying at very narrow distances. All right, so here let's talk a little bit about the August 1st Aerobatic Team, and it was established in 1962, and this is another fantastic scene. You can see that the spring smoke in air. This is their sky drawing. Because this is the public day, and we are right now at the National Day holiday. We have a lot of audience, so that is why they give this color of smoke. And here in the studio, we can hear a lot of roaring from the outside. And yesterday, I can tell you, whenever there is smoke in the air, there is a big shout or a yell from the audience, and this is their way of celebrating the National Day holiday. And as I mentioned, that it was established in 1962. It engages in aerobatic shows and demonstrations, and it also undertakes some military operations. So now you can see that they have changed the shape, and they are ready to present the second move. And this time it will be vertical. Turn around, and then they're gonna dive in, and you can see this is another round of sky drawing. It's pulling up, making a turn in the air. So it just flew over from the studio, and you can see the blue sky. You can see how the color contrasts with the color of the smoke, and you can also hear the engine roaring. So this is the combination of speed and power, and also you can see those fantastic aircrafts in the backdrop of the blue sky. And I can tell you, we have a lot of spectators today because this is the second day of the public day of the air show, and we estimate that there are 40,000 spectators. A lot of them are holding umbrellas. Why? Because it's pretty good weather today, and it's 30 degrees, and so they just hold the umbrellas to avoid the sunlight. You can see they just adjusted their angle, and this is like a triangle. And notice how close they are with each other. And this is very limited space in the air because they have to fly at very close distance. So if they fly in such a formation from the radar image, it seems that it's just one aircraft. So they're just, presenting different shapes and formations so that it can send out misleading information to the radar system on the ground. So this is another round of sky drawing.
上升，现在要做一个6G 的斜筋斗，带有一定的它的这个筋斗的这一个平面跟地面成一个夹角，有几十度的夹角，完成了一个斜筋斗。
Pulled up again and another turnaround. This is a drastic turn.
完成了这样一个6G
So this is demonstrating the very amazing maneuvering capability of the aircraft in the air. And bearing in mind, this is a drastic turn of a formation of 6 aircrafts, and they are flying at an altitude of 1,200 meters.
真漂亮！哎，想问问王老师，您看，除了彩烟之后，感觉它两翼又有点细细的白烟，那个是什么
对，
呢？
这应该是在这个气流的这种影响，气流的影响。
不是刻意拉烟，而是
So now we can see there is this white smoke from the 2 edges of the wings. So this is not smoke, and this is just
从侧面
the
珠海的天气哈，
airflow
但是我们现场的观众
beside the aircrafts.
非常关注这样的一场表演。好，我们的画面切出来可以看到，
So here we have
大家今天
very pleasant weather actually,
打着这个遮阳伞，
high humidity
伞的海洋，因为
and high temperature as well. You can see the number of spectators here. A lot of them are holding umbrellas,
反映了这个观众
and they have been waiting for
期待啊，
对
quite a number of hours.
热情高涨。
对对对。那现在我们看到
And this shows the enthusiasm of the audience
整位置，
在调整位置，
and the passion they have on this fantastic move of the aircraft in the air. So now they are adjusting their move, and this is a new formation, and they are flying back.
先后装备过的6种机型当中的第6种，也就是歼十表演机，它整个的涂装呢是以
So this is the August 1st Aerobatic Team, and this is the
那么在它的
aircraft of J-10, and they feature the color of gemstone blue, and they also have gray
的效果非常漂亮。好，我们看
at
到
the lower body and the upper body of the fuselage, and there are different colors, and from the ground it just feels like an arrow, and now it's flying into us. Another round of smoke spring.
这是一个6G 的同步横滚，对，同步的滚转，在这个过程这个中间呢，调整了相对的关系位置以后，6G 协调一致的完成了，
This is simultaneous rollover
体现出这个
of the aircraft, and you can see how they synchronize their moves in the air.
对，确实是，我们也给大家在这儿介绍。
So from this you can see how they can perfectly coordinate their moves.
3代机进行飞行表演的，而且刚才王老师也给我们介绍过。
Actually, in the world, only China, Russia, and the United States, they have the capability of presenting an air show using their 3rd generation of military aircrafts. All the pilots, they have been selected from many different rounds of competitions, and they need to have this stamina, they need to pass the IQ test and also the mental test. And this is something I have never heard of. So all the pilots driving those aircrafts, they are the best,
通过层层选拔之后，
and they are physically qualified, and they are also mentally fit for this kind of challenging moves in the air.
军战斗力水平的体现，更是我们一个
So it's lucky that we have the chance to watch their moves in the air, and they are demonstrating not just those acrobatic moves in the air, and they are also demonstrating the military strength of the country.
两机分开，
And now they are flying in the direction of the podium, and you can see that 2 of the aircrafts, they have separated from the team, and they rolled over across each other, and this is like a flower blossoming into all the different directions.
拉烟啊，不仅仅是飞过的时候它有一个氛围，当飞机过去
This
之
is
后，我们
such
再看烟
a
的时候
stunning
这样的
move.
就是刚刚的一个飞行轨迹，再给我们大家
So when they spray smoke,
这个烟在慢慢的散去，还是很有意境的。
they are also leaving behind the track of their flying routes.
紧接着下面就应该进入下一个阶段，就是组合动作。
组合动作，
刚才
So this is the end of the 2nd stage of performance, and we can expect
这个开
the next stage of performance, which is combined
交汇，
aerobatic moves.
动作的安排非常紧
They
凑。
will fly into each other's direction. They have a rendezvous in the air.
马上紧接着就是一个对冲。
Perfect.
这个其实也是非常考验我们飞行员的这样的一个本领的哈。
So you can see how those different moves
都必须是你长年累月的习
are inherently organized in the air. They follow closely with one another, and this is a result of
刚才交汇的时候，
days and years of training.
1400千米。那么这种
It's also demonstrating the gene of the PLA Air Force, that they are willing to fight and they
刚才是一个双击，
are
现在
capable of winning a fight.
飞过来。
So this is the other four aircrafts.
编队做一个横滚。我们注意看，4架飞机保持在一个平面，完成了协调一致的轮转。
Very steady and stable moves in air. You can see how they are able to
每架飞机
make the move
这是4机保持一体。
on a horizontal surface, and this is quite challenging because this is a formation of four aircrafts, and they are presenting the move as one entity because all the four aircrafts, they have to fly on the same horizon and they have to turn around
这个我想对，其实对他们
in the air.
这个素质都是要求非常高了。
对
现在觉得啊，而且今天在这个推出的这个过程，在地面的时候看到，
So this attests to their fantastic flying skills.
架飞机保持着直线飞，大速度起飞。
Here it is again. One aircraft is rolling over the other aircraft in the air.
这个飞机在进行这个机动。同滚也是。
So while flying, you can see that one of the aircraft is revolving around the other one.
就是我在前面，敌人在后面的时候，我可以做大半径的横滚。
And this is of great
敌人如果不能够及时
strategic importance. And when you are in a passive stance, a lot of the times your track can be identified by the enemy aircraft. And if you can make this a rollover in air, you can quickly change your position. You can gain the upper hand, and
这个具体的这个数
then you will be able to
外头公布，但是在这个
hunt for your enemy in the air.
12批。
12批啊。好，我们看到现在
For the specific data, we have not disclosed to the outside, but I can tell you over the past 70 years, we have cultivated 12 batches of pilots
一个在向上，
for demonstration purposes.
筋斗，这是一个斜筋斗，
Pulled up, and this is
翻转，
a very vertical
向
pitch.
上做了一个翻转，
Rolling back,
改变
rolled over,
做了一个水平的大坡度盘旋，一个加力盘旋，声音非常大，因为是开加力了，这个时候它的轰鸣声非常
so
大。
this is another
虽然是一个单发的飞机，在我们
turn in the air. You can
明显感觉到一种
hear the sound of the engine. So this is a single engine aircraft, but still you can feel the roaring of the engine.
上升、跃升做滚转，
Accelerating, turn around, pulled up.
所以这些动作我们可以看到，它是垂直、水平机动和这种上升的这种滚转，不断改变航向的这种姿
So
态的
from these moves, you can see that we have pull-ups horizontally, and we also have accelerated pitches, and this is a combination of different moves, and this is very practical when you talk about real fight in the air. So this is the formation of 4 aircrafts.
大坡盘旋，这是一个4机密集
So all these are demonstrating their fantastic maneuvering capability, and this is the formation of 4 aircrafts, and look how close they are from each other, and they are making a drastic turn in the air, yet they are flying in this very synchronized manner.
密集队形，垂直机动，拉烟。
Spring smokes,
对，非常漂亮。现场一条完美的曲线，
对，
紧接着做一个4级的斜筋斗，
impressive.
画的这条曲线和白云映衬的蓝天，白云的映衬非常漂亮。
应该说今天
Another drastic turn in the air, and this is like drawing a rainbow in the air. This is so beautiful.
我们看到这个彩烟也是留下了我们
It's the best weather we have had over the past few days. So this is a fantastic backdrop of the blue sky, and you can see this colorful rainbow and big curve in the air. So that's why a lot of spectators, they have been waiting for this moment. And it's quite different watching from here in the studio and from the crowd as a spectator. And this is another pull up. This is a drastic rollover, roll up in the sky, and so we can imagine a overload of the gravitational pull, and this is at least 5G. So this is a static rollover. It's quite challenging, and the pilot has to be very precise. And the mechanic performance of the aircraft must also be up to the standard. And now we can see these 4 aircraft flying above one another. They're maintaining a height difference of only 2 meters, and they are spraying smokes, flying across us, and this is so beautiful. From the air, you can see that they are just like one aircraft, and if you watch from the ground, it's just like one aircraft. This is precision control. Now they have changed the formation. So you said 2 meters, and this is something very hard to distinguish from a distance. So now you can see that the aircraft is almost hovering in the air, and this is flying at a very low speed. So this is demonstrating the different flying envelopes of the aircraft. You can see it's very stable, no matter which flying or flight envelope we are talking about. And this is demonstrating the reliability of the aircraft. And we saw that there are actually 2 pilots in this aircraft. So what is their division of responsibility? So the front pilot is in charge of maneuvering and driving the aircraft, and the second one behind him is in charge of observing the situation in the air. So this is the formational fall, and the spring smoke again. Such a great color combination with the smokes and the white cumulus. They just flew over, and you can see how synchronized they are. And this is very important. So in a real air battle, they can give a very good self-defense, and they can also search around the situation on the ground. So this is a single aircraft. So this is such fantastic moves by the August 1st Aerobatic Team, and over the past 7 decades, it has given more than 600 air shows in more than 100 countries, and for 9 times it has participated in the military parade in the National Day, and it has also traveled to Pakistan, to Singapore for flight missions. And this is a business card of Air Force of China, and this is the honor guards of the country in the air. Roll over. It's multiple rolling overs, and this is demonstrating the superb physical qualifications of the pilot and also his precision control in the air. So, well, let me tell you, if you're not a professional photographer, it's very hard to catch the moment. So this is the formation of 5, and this is another flower blossom in the air, and this is such an iconic move. A lot of the spectators, they are photographing, they are taking photos of this fantastic moment.
大家通过我们的这个全景的画面也能看出来哈，刚才那个拉烟。
So now we can expect the very last stage of the performance, which is landing. You can see that the position of the flower blossom that is right above the audience area.
迅速上升高度，
Pulled up.
半扣，
It's a drastic pitch.
半滚道，要升半滚道转，
Rolled over again. And this is a half horizontal rollover.
大家注意看，半滚完成了以后，起落架放下来了，马上就要落地。您
大
看
家注意看飞机的下
它一
面。
改出这个半滚道转，马上就快接地了。
So now it's in a perfect position of landing.
背景的完成了这样
So you can see that after the move is completed,
超低空通常
it's about to land.
半滚道转，半滚道转放起落架
and the interval is very limited.
太快了，
So this is a super low altitude fly, and now the landing gear is
接地
unleashed.
对，
It has just landed, and this is
打开了哈。
a process of within 1 minute.
非常重要的这个战术意义。现在是第二
And
个
now this brake parachute is open, and so all the moves are quite coherent.
是一个双击落地，这是
So this is the second set of landing aircrafts. You can see we have 2 aircrafts. So these 2 aircrafts, they will land simultaneously
第二种带有战术
on a runway.
方式。
对，就
So
是
this is quite challenging because within such a short span of time, we have many different sets of aircrafts landing on a runway.
实战速度和过硬的操作
So you may think landing is fairly easy, but behind that
非常快，降落了2架机。
are the superb skills of the pilots.
会儿还要看到的就是
And all of those skills, they can be well applied in real air battles. Alright, this is the last set of the formation.
告别表演，
And
告别。
just take a guess how they will land. And they
要升滚转，
spray smoke again, and this is like saying goodbye to all the spectators. And you can see one of the aircrafts pulled up drastically, and it springs smoke.
非常炫。
So this aircraft, that is going to give us a very limited landing within a limited air routes. So it's just fantastic.
对，保持着这样的相对来讲比较短的距离，这个小航线，然后放下起落架，3、4转弯，一气
So now they are maintaining a fairly large distance because this is
你看，开始
a very limited space in the air.
在这个200米
The landing gear is
30转弯
unleashed.
一个短五边落地。
我觉得我估计我们很多
So they are flying at an altitude of
费劲啊，因为
200 meters.
非常的精彩。这实际
Yet
上背后
it's turning around.
空军战斗力水平的一个整体跃升的一个体现。
This is such a stunning move.
你看它
And behind those stunning moves
紧接着就一个
哎，
短五边进入，
are days and years of training.
这就是小航线，在一个很短的时间里面完成了飞机从空中到地面。
Now it's landing.
你看它解散的过程呢，
So this is what we call this small air route landing. And within a very short span of time, you have to complete all those moves and also finding your landing position.
非常的
And
只有战斗。
immediately after you land on the runway, you unleash your brake parachutes, and all the different moves are quite coherent. It's only the military aircrafts
我们看到应该是第
that have such capability.
它这种降
So this is the 5th aircraft.
一架一架回，或者是2架，为什么不能够多个飞机同时落地？是因为跑道的局限吗？
跑道的宽度是有限的，它可以在2架
So
飞机
同时
when it is landing,
平行3架
why we cannot have
保障了是吧？
multiple aircrafts land at the same time? Well, this is due to the limitation of the runway, because we have a very narrow runway, and this is also for safety concerns.
就对于要求
And so when they take off, and they can take off all at one time, but landing is relatively more risky. So that is why we can only have 2 aircraft landing at the same time
伞头条，
at most.
专门的工作
So
人员
this is
会去捡
军人
它啊。
还有一名军人把伞这个捡。
an aircraft featuring 2 pilots.
对啊，可以重用。因为
The
这个伞
brake
如果在
parachute is
可能会
open, and then
飞机的滑行
it was
会有我们的军人。
dumped on the ground, and our working staff, they will quickly pick that up, will get it folded, and it can be used again.
其实的场务保障人员是非常多的。但是刚才他们腾空飞起来走了之后，我们看到整个场务保障人员是立
We
刻
have
彻查，你们
Maintenance staff,
相对庞
the
大
ground crews, they're working very hard, and they
他
can
们在天上的
very quickly
全顺利，然后背后都
pick up the brake parachutes and get it folded and make it ready for
查呀、
the next time of use.
保障人员来完成的。而且我想，其实他们对于这个
And they are doing
性能，它也要非常
a fantastic job maintaining those aircrafts
怎么操作什么之类的。
and providing ground support. And they also have very good knowledge
好了，才能保证我们每一次飞
about the aircraft, and they know where to
在开飞前几个
operate,
飞行结束之后，
and they know where to focus in their walk around check. And also,
非常
each time before the aircraft takes off, it has to conduct a walk around,
应该是
and also they cannot leave until hours after the landing. So this is,
我们的飞行员
if I'm right, this is the last aircraft of this formation.
要有飞行后有奖评。
奖评。
他们这次飞行之后呢，因为飞机上都有飞行车
So what would those pilots do
飞行过程全部
after landing?
他们需要复现，需要
So each time after landing, they will have to review their flights,
即使是
because on board the aircraft we have a system that monitors all the different performances.
他们需要来看看我今天的
It keeps all the data. So although it's just a air show, it has to conduct a review immediately after the flight, because they will have to look at the flaws that they have made, the mistakes that they have registered,
来重新回放一下，看看我今天这个表现怎么样。
and some of the performances, some of the moves, they are recorded in a video format, and they will have to look at the video after landing,
非常
so
漂
they
亮
can gradually and consistently improve.
这 GoPro 估计也能拍到我们每一位飞行员在飞行时，他们其实非常就是沉醉或者说是享受这种。
So I believe that with the support of photographers,
对对对，
they will take a very good and comprehensive look at their own performance.
近景我们看到我们整个监视飞机这个非常优美的这个现象啊，不，应该不能优美有点，就是这种力量。
Fantastic. Now we can see
刚毅，
in close distance
他们在滑向停机位过一会儿
how the aircraft looks like, and you can see this curve of strength.
招手啊，观众也会
And now it's taxiing to the tarmac.
知道我们很期待。
And later, I believe it will
好像啊，
drive across the audience.
对对对，
I believe the pilot will wave the crowd, wave to the crowd.
到前去排
So
队
this
的
is
观
a
众
close
这个
distance
等待是非常值得的。我们看到
observation of the aircraft. And so now you know the value of arriving here early. Because when you come early, you can, just take a very good position and have a
现场一
close distance observation of the aircraft.
孩子到这里来看，这些小孩看到这些镜头，对他留下深刻的印象。10几年以后，他们长大了，我想今年一定会有。
A lot of the spectators, they are
来报考
bringing their kids.
来参
And
加
this, I believe, will leave an indelible memory
热血青年们，他们能够加入军队，加入空军。
for their
还
kids,
有一个重要的
for their
提示
children,
啊，在这10
and
年
maybe
过程当中
in another 10 or 20 years,
储备
we'll have more
时尚的体力和准备，
pilots
自己的智力
training
还有
the
智
Air
力
Force of
关上
China.
考验，你才能当上我们
As you have mentioned, you have to study very well, you have to train very hard and practice every day, and also you need to improve your mental qualities.
作为一名军人，必须要全面发展，不能在某一个方向发展，一定要全面发展。
所以之前2天跟王
So for any pilot or any soldier to become successful, it has to engage in all-round development. You have to focus on all the different aspects of the skills.
等待的飞行员把飞机
As we said that the effective lifespan of an
有一个那个小车，那
pilot is as long as 50 years, and this means that you need to accumulate the skills very well when you are young. And you can see that we have one bar that is holding out from the fairing of the aircraft, and that is for refilling in the air. And we also have hooks on board the aircraft, and this is mainly for drags on the ground.
我们看到之前回来的3架飞机停到位之后，已经座舱盖已经在我们的
机务人员在帮着接
下。
收飞机，帮助我们飞行员下飞机。
All right, now 3 aircrafts, they have opened their hatch.
你看它这个座舱打开，
They are fully
这个座位
parked on the
设备
tarmac,
是非常多的哈啊。
and now they are getting off the aircraft. And from
高高的举起了
from my position, I can see a lot of devices and control console
有点近啊，这个真的是我们
in the pilot's cabin, and so now you can see how close the aircraft is to the audience.
现场太热了，这个
And this is the
接受这个
luck of all the spectators, and they're holding umbrellas, and they are very passionate.
发机飞
Some of them, they arrived here very early, and this is scorching heat in today's
2、3、4
Zhuhai, and I think it's worth it, and it's a worthwhile experience because they could have such close distance observation of the aircrafts. All right, 5 of the aircrafts have been parked on the tarmac, and now let's have a recap of their fantastic moments. Welcome to the 13th China International Air Show, and this is the second public day of the Air Show. And just now you have watched the fantastic moves from August the 1st Aerobatic Show, Aerobatic Team. And now let me bring you to the exhibition area. And today we have very good weather in Zhuhai. And later, let me tell you, we will expect the fantastic moves by Red Falcon. And today we have Cao Weidong. He's gonna accompany us on a tour to the exhibition area. So just now you saw those fantastic moves in the air. So what is your general impression? Well, first I can tell you they are flying with J-10, and J-10 is the most dominant aircraft in China's Air Force. And my second observation is that when you have those first-class military aircrafts, you also need to have fantastic pilots, and I just saw that. I saw that we have fantastic pilots because they have just demonstrated a lot of fantastic moves in the air. It's such a perfect combination between the pilots and also the military aircrafts. We have just seen the stunning moves and the fighting capability of Air Force China. And this is the public day, and that's why we have a lot of audience today. And today Zhuhai is having a very high temperature. You can see a lot of the spectators, they are holding umbrellas and they are sweating. It's also high humidity today in Zhuhai. So in today's air show, I saw a lot of drones or UAVs. UAVs have attracted a lot of attention. For example, this is the Yilong drone. So how do you like it? Well, we can turn the camera a little bit and let's have a full view of this UAV. So UAV of Yilong is a whole series. The lineup of this product features large speed in the air. So no matter it is the Yilong 2 or Yilong 10, they are able to conduct reconnaissance missions as well as fighting missions, and you can see a lot of missiles, and those can be equipped on board the UAV. And you can see one of the missiles, one of the apprentices is for collecting signals from sonar. So this is an aircraft with dual capabilities of reconnaissance and fighting. And this is a jet plane, and you will need to have a reasonable design in a full body. And also when you have different designs, you will need to take into consideration what missiles that you can carry, what apprentice that you can equip on board. So based on different demands, you can have different trade-offs. You can have a very good speed, you can have also very good fighting capability. And so today from this UAV, and we can feel that in the future we can expect a lot of such drones equipping our Air Force in the future. All right, we have AJ600. That is an amphibious aircraft, and a couple of days ago it gave us some air show in the air, and today it's parked on the ground, and we can have a close distance watch. So this is an amphibious airplane. It can be very useful in military battles and also in fire protection missions. So this is a fairly large airplane, and each time it can scoop a large quantity of water in a lake or in a pond, and it can directly spray the water in a forest that has caught on fire. And if we are talking about the South China Sea, it can undertake a lot of maritime transportation missions and also transportation of military personnel and also reconnaissance missions. And apart from AJ600, we have Y9. This is a medical transportation aircraft, and traditionally we don't have such aircraft, but today, and this is a independent line of products in China's Air Force, and you can see this Red Cross logo printed on the fuselage. So may I ask our cameraman to turn around a little bit, and this is UAV-7. This is a reconnaissance airplane, and this is a turbojet plane, and it can fly at a very high speed. It can also avoid the scanning of radar, and bear in mind this is a reconnaissance drone, and also it can avoid those infrared ray scanning. So that is why on a fuselage we have logos of the 5-star and also August the 1st. So this shows that it's already equipped in the Air Force of the PLA. It's already in service. And I can tell you with great certainty that this is already operational, and this is also in service in the Air Force of the PLA. And because right now we are in a stage of the information war, and to win this type of war, we need to rely on the support of the reconnaissance drones, just like the one that we saw. In the future, when we fight an information war, we will have to rely on such new tools and new platforms. And now we can keep walking, and this is the WZH. And from the shape of the aircraft, you can see it can hide above the radar, and also you can take a look at the wings, and the two wings, they are closely attached to the main fuselage, and it's just like a giant triangle. So this means that you could fly in air for a very long time without being spotted by the enemy force on the ground. So it can also fly very quickly above the ground of the enemy, and it has this invisibility feature. And now we can take a look at this new aircraft, and this is Aggression 2. And this is another stealth plane, and you can see that it can also carry missiles, and it can conduct reconnaissance missions, and when it spots enemy or enemy targets, it can immediately launch the missiles. So it can fly at a very high altitude. It can quickly learn the situation on the ground. It can also quickly analyze the positions of the enemy targets. You can see this drone is currently carrying 8 missiles. So I can tell you it can fight those moving targets and also static targets and also those targets inside the building. So this is a major component of China's drone lineup in the Air Force, and these military aircrafts, they are telling you that we have reconnaissance planes, we have fighter jets, we have aircrafts with combined features of both, and this shows that the Air Force of China is becoming more and more powerful, more automated. We have aircrafts flown by pilots, human pilots, and also those without pilots, those UAVs. So this is a trend of Air Force in China, and traditionally we need to rely on human pilots. And right now we have UAVs, and we can fight, we can also defend our airspace. And if we turn around a little bit, and if you are talking about altitude and long distance, we have a Y-20. This is a super large cargo plane. It is able to transport a large quantity of military equipment and also military personnel. So you talked about the trend of Air Force, and we have a lot of drones here. So among the drones, we have reconnaissance planes and also fighter jets. So each aircraft, each drone is designed for a particular type of mission. So what is the trend going forward? Will we go fully automated? This is clearly not the purpose, and we have a lot of drones, but this is not the purpose. And our purpose is not to have all the aircrafts flying automatically, and this is just adding to the capability of the Air Force, because no pilots can fly an aircraft 24/7 in the air. But if we are talking about a drone that is able to do that, because there is no human pilots on board. So if we could combine both categories, we can have a very powerful Air Force. And because this is a new stage, and we need to win the battle in the air, on the ground, and also in the space. So you need to collect all the information and gather them on one platform. And also you need to have this high precision attack. You need to understand the situation of the enemy troops. And also there are changing situations on the battlefield, and you need to be very responsive, very quick in analyzing the situation. That is why we have drones, we have automatic fighting machines in the water, in the air, and also in the space. So you need to build up such a system. And traditionally, we fight with platform, but right now we are fighting with systems. And in the future, we'll be fighting in the air, underwater, and in the space, featuring the combination of machines as well as human pilots. So all the aircrafts, you can see the multifunctional. We have airplanes and fighter jets fighting as a formation, and we also have formation of drones. So what do you think are the highlights of this year's air show? We have Y-20, we have H6K, and we have a lot of the drones that are displayed for the first time. So what is the strategic trend going forward? So I first came here in 1996. At that time, we have only J/A2, and but right now we have stealth aircraft, and we have a lot of UAVs and drones, and we have Police 500, and we have H6K and Y-20, helicopter 20, and also air-to-air defense aircrafts. So a lot of the blanks, they have been filled, a lot of the gaps, they have been narrowed, and Chinese Air Force has transformed from zero to hero, and traditionally we have just a couple of different aircraft types, and right now we have a comprehensive lineup of the different aircrafts. In these areas, we are facing the restrictions and barriers of Western powers. So this is a result of independent research and development over the years. And you can feel the innovation capability of the Chinese Air Force. And also this machinery and these aircrafts, they exist to defend the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country, and this is adding to the overall capability of China's national defense. All right, and this is the end of this tour, and later we can stand here and expect the performance of Red Falcon. All right, thank you very much.
家继续回到我们第13届中国航展飞行表演的现场。那现在我们看到的是红鹰飞行表演队。那继续在现场陪伴我们大家一起解说的是军事专家王明志老师。
Welcome back to the 13th Airshow China. And this is the formation by the PLA Air Force Aviation University's Red Falcon Air Demonstration Team. And this is a formation of 4 aircrafts. And within a very short span of time, they can quickly take off, make some moves in the air, and quickly land. The Red Falcon belongs to the Air Force Aviation University of the PLA, and it's a senior education institution training senior pilots. And the university can trace back to 1946 when the Northeastern China Aviation School was founded. So this is the first round of the move, and now they are going to present the second round of the air show, and the second stage features 5 moves in the air with the formation of 8 aircrafts. You can see we have very good weather today, blue sky, clear view, and also the aircrafts are painted red. And we have a very light colored cumulus in the air. But if it is purely blue, it will be very hard for you to spot the aircraft when we have this light colored cumulus and with some blue smoke sprayed by those aircraft, and it's such a great color combination. So this is this formation, and later they are going to show us their fantastic, iconic move in the air. Now in the footage, you can see that they are forming a formation and they are flying in our direction, and this is such a fantastic view. Here, let me also tell you that the Red Falcon has participated in the September 3rd military parade in 2015 and also in the military parade in the 2019, celebrating the 70th anniversary of the founding of the PRC, and now they are spraying smokes in the air, flying across the podium in the center. This is their first move in the air. So this is like drawing a colorful rainbow in the air. Now the smoke is dispersed, but still you can see the trajectory of the formation. And now this is a different shape in air, and this is forming a triangle, and it feels almost that they are ready to fight. And just now we saw the Aerobatic Team of August the 1st. August the 1st Aerobatic Team is like the honor guards of the country in the air. August the 1st Aerobatic Team can demonstrate speed and strength, but the Red Falcon can showcase some very gentle moves, very elegant moves in the air. And this aircraft was designed in 1992, and in 1998 it was equipped to the Air Force of PLA, and mainly it's used for training pilots, and to today's day it has been in service for 23 years. So this is the fighting formation, and this is quite aggressive. You can see from the distance how ferocious and this formation is, and they just sort of saluted the spectators, and now they are in this formation flying over us. Very beautiful. and they are changing the formation in the air in such a great order.
此刻呢，临近
And they just flew over our studio.
已经是全天应该说是最高的时候了。我们仍然能看到，在我们
We're
航
getting
展的
to
这个
1 o'clock
现场
in the afternoon, and this is the hour with the highest temperature of the day.
再炎热的天气也抵挡不住的。
Yes, we can see a huge number of spectators, and you can feel the passion of the public about flying.
四机的这个梯队啊，在四机编队空战的这个过程里面用的
So this is the Red Falcon Formation,
战鹰队形呢，是用两个这样的梯队组成的，体现
and just now it featured a move of 2 layers, one layer upon another.
突出了这种战术素养这种培养。
And from this, you can see that those coaches at the Aviation University, they are teaching not just flying skills, but also tactic moves in real air battles. Alright, you can see that they are in such a neat and well-coordinated formation, and this is demonstrating their superior flying skills and also their maneuvering capability in the air. So this is a formation maneuvered by teaching coaches at the Aviation University. So only with good teacher can we expect good performing students. And so this is the teacher performing, and we can expect very good students and very superb flying skills fostered with their teaching. And because the coating is in red color, and when it flies across us, and it can take very fantastic shots.
可以编不同的这种形状，所以刚才是一个标那个
So this is the formation of 8 aircrafts, and in the air they can form different shapes.
菱形队，红鹰飞行表演队呢，它是组建于2011年的3月，也是空军首支飞行院校较大的
So the
飞行
Red
表演。
Falcon
刚刚王老
was
师介绍了，
established
我们的
in
队员都是由飞行教
March of 2013, and this is the first aerobatic teams organized by the Air Force Aviation University.
连续8届
And we have 15 Grade 1 pilots,
第12届中国国际航
and for 8 consecutive years it has performed
建党百
at the public day of the International Airshow of China.
次的表演当中，
It also participated in the
练筋骨跳跃，
70th anniversary
它是一个全新
of the founding of the People's Republic of China, and also the centenary of the Communist Party of China. So this is a fresh new shape formed in air. They are in a shape of rhombus. So this is imitating the moves of a falcon in the air, and later they are gonna give this rolling over moves in the air,
说在这
4 by 4.
当中展示了自己，其实也是在不断的丰满履历哈，向世界展示了中国航空院校飞行表演。
So with these moves, they are not just demonstrating their flying skills, but also they are demonstrating the great capability of the Air Force Aviation University of China. So
当然他也可以一个人驾驶。
does each aircraft have 1 pilot or 2? So this is the coaching aircraft, and it has 2 pilots on each aircraft. But you can also fly it with just 1 pilot.
他在今天这个两个队形，红鹰战鹰队形通
So they are changing the formation again in the air.
标枪队的盘旋以后，接下来要做一个钻石队形的垂直机动，做一个
So just now they changed from ambush to a square formation, and right now they are going to take a very drastic
直线、曲线，
turn in the air,
体现了我们飞行教官的这种
and later they will turn a somersault in the air.
看到他们在侧转弯，
这是一个
大角度的这
对
种，转弯。
这也是钻石队的钻石队形的盘旋。
So now they just
做这个垂直
made a turn. This is a sharp turn in the air. So right now they are spraying colorful smokes. And this is another somersault.
现场的观众那是惊呼一片啊！
对，
大
这
家在
是做的一个8级的钻石类型的筋斗，所以还是2个通常
You can hear the roar of the spectators.
垂直筋斗。
So we have one drastic turn, one drastic pitch, and also one somersault. So this is another perfect curve that they just drew in the air.
做一个击群的垂直动作，体现出来这个8架飞机的之间的这种密切的这个协调。
While making a somersault in the air,
大动作量的挑战之下，
you can see that they almost vertically pulled up.
定性
And bear in mind that they are maintaining this formation in a very precise manner, and this is demonstrating their superb maneuvering capability, and this is such a visual impact to the spectators. And just now you saw two aircrafts separated from the formation, and later they will present some combination moves.
现在这个2架飞机就应该进入对向观礼台，然后分开以后做一个对冲。
And later they will feature a formation of 6 and maybe 5 and 4, and they are separated. Maybe later they will dive in each other's directions.
在这儿也要告诉大家，当我们关注两
And this is a dual aircrafts,
厉害的6架机，应该是在
a very tiny formation.
进行等待，
等待。
他要等这2架飞机。
Well, let me tell you that when we are focusing on these 2 aircrafts and the remaining 6 aircrafts, they are waiting in a different place. So later they will fly into the
是对向这个观礼台，然后
area above the spectators and give us fantastic moves. And now they just
转过来进行对冲。
turned around and they flew into the different directions, and later
左右方
they will
分开绕。
take a turn on both sides of the runway and then fly to the center. All right, they are making the turn right now, and this one is turning left. From the footage, you can see that this red colored coating is just beautiful, and it's now giving this smoke. And now these 2 aircrafts, they are flying in each other's direction, and this is such a dangerous and fantastic move.
条蓝色的曲线在我们的面前，
Rendezvous.
2架飞机的飞行速度大约在每小时500千米，这样它的相对较
So now in front of us are 2 lines of fantastic blue, and they are flying at a speed of 500 kilometers per hour.
瞬间。
它的这个飞行速度和刚刚我们看到的815那个歼10
So their relative speed is 1,000 kilometers per hour, and you can see that this is just one flash of moment when they
歼10飞机是我们的现役战
战
斗。
斗机，
meet in air.
刚才81飞行员
So this is a medium level coach aircraft, and just now in the first round, we saw the performance of military aircraft, and the
机表演完对冲之后，
relatively
4架机也和他们一起
our
起
speed
拉
was 1,400 kilometers. All right, after these 2 aircrafts, and we see these remaining 6 aircrafts flying in our direction.
你看，这个6级的协调平滚，编队过程中间2架飞机各自完成了一个横滚，协调一致的完成了空中的滚转动作。
Rolling over,
滚转结束以后，保持了严整的对
very steady moves.
那在空中把离自己最近的距离交给战友，实际上我们飞行员之间
And after this rollover, they quickly resumed their formation. And so this is great teamwork.
实际上它也象
You
征
can imagine the level of trust between different pilots.
美好的寓意在里面的。
Each time a colorful rainbow is drawn
这6级
in the air,
以后他就离场。刚才不是有2架飞机完成
they are expressing good wishes for the future development of Air Force of China. So they just gave us one performance, and now they are leaving the airspace, and now here comes these 2 aircraft again, and just you can see right now in the footage, one aircraft is revolving around the other in the air. Well, at the same time, they are leaving a smoke track behind, and this is so beautiful a scene.
生理的、心理素质极其强大，队员之间还要讲
So our pilots, they have great knowledge about the maneuvering mechanics of the aircraft, and they have great teamwork. They have high mental qualifications, and they are selected among a large number of competitors, and they are the finest pilots that we could possibly offer. So all those moves, they're not just for visual impacts, for visual shows, and they also have great strategic significances. And when you think about the air battle scenario,
这样的一个精彩表演。飞行表演我们老说是云端上的竞技哈，它实际上就是把
so this is the formation of 6 aircrafts, and you can see that they are forming a great shape in the air. They are presenting
我们现在看到的
a series of moves in the air, demonstrating their flying skills as well as the maneuvering capability of the aircraft. And now they have just made another turn, and this is like a scorpion. And now they
啊对蓝天芭蕾
dispersed into different directions, and this is yet another iconic move of the aerobatic team, and this is like ballet in the air. Look how beautiful the curve is.
飞行员他是更加科学
So
地
this is
更加精细
a
地操控，然后实际上
show in the air,
惊险。
and that's why we call it air show, and it's quite precision control and
公众日的第二天，但是
very accurate maneuvering capability in the air.
现场的观众仍然是非常多。要知道，
Again, this is the second day of the public day of the International Air Show in China,
这个时候呢，
and this is actually the 5th day into this air show. And right now, this hour, we have the highest temperature of the day. A lot of the spectators, and they are still standing
我们看到
here on site.
过来，
And we have a lot of footages that we can show you, and but let me tell you, those spectators who attend this air show physically, they could see much more. And this is a dual aircraft formation. They just made a sharp turn in the air,
3米啊，
and leaving white and blue smokes in the air, and they only have a distance of 3 meters in between them. They are almost flying
漂亮的线。
neck to neck.
蓝白相间的拉烟意着蓝天和白云，
Very stunning.
意着我们飞行教官们把蓝天作为操场，把座舱作为教室，一代一代的。
Blue sky, white cloud. And for those pilots and those students who are learning flying,
动作在我们观众席
the blue sky is just their classroom,
的不仅是我们飞行员，
and the aircraft is just their learning
感
desk.
百空军人的这种精细
So
实
behind
干啊
such spectacular moves are days and months and years of trainings, and also countless hours of rehearsals and training.
双机表演结束以后，他们应该就离场，停出空域，紧接着母机
母机来了，
And after their next move, and they will leave and make space and make room for
漂亮。
these 5 aircrafts.
下转，剩下来的再次
Marvelous. So they are rolling over each other, revolving around.
顾问结束以后，
2 of the aircraft are revolving around 3 aircrafts.
一个编队的完整性。
After the completion of the moves, they quickly rejoin the team, rejoin the formation.
刚才是一个双机，再加上一个5机表演，应该剩下来一个单机，那么马上就应该进入的就是刚才在等待进入空域的那架单机了。我们来看
So we can still expect 1 single aircraft, because we saw 2, we saw 5,
什么样的视觉的这种冲击
and there's 1 left.
之后我们看看一个，
Let's see what kind of moves it will bring about.
主场面哈，
它的这种精准的操控能力。
精准的操控能力。
We can expect some very fantastic and marvelous moves, and it will feature the precision maneuvering of the aircraft in the air.
刚才表演完空域腾出来，紧接着后面的飞机就进来了。
So you can see that after dispersing, they quickly
三机的
rejoin each other and created the formation.
一架单机先进来，
So we were just run, and prior to that, one aircraft flew over here, and so this is the single aircraft. You can see it's static rollover in the air, so which means that when it is rolling over in the air, it's not giving coherent moves, and it will stop and pause for a few seconds before rolling over again. So again, this is the formation of three, and one aircraft is revolving around the other two, drawing a circle in the air while flying. Fantastic move. And now the two aircraft crossed each other's flight routes, leaving behind a fantastic curve in the air. So from here, from our studio today, we have seen multiple flowers blossom in the sky. Sometimes the flower consists of 5 airplanes, and sometimes 3, and this is just like a colorful fountain in the sky. So now this is the formation of 4 aircrafts. You can see that they are very steady. They're leaving behind colorful smokes. And just now we saw the revolving of 3 aircrafts, and this is the formation of 4. You can see that 2 aircrafts are revolving around these remaining 2 aircrafts while flying at one speed, drawing curves in the air. And this is white and yellow color, and from a distance you can see how beautiful those smoke curves are. So truly this is a great show in the air. We coincide the National Day holiday. So that's why we can expect a lot of spectators. And yesterday I had some conversation with some of the visitors, and they told me that they want to have a taste of the great performance of Air Force of China. They want to feel the strength of Air Force in China. A lot of the kids are here watching the performance, and they are brought here by their parents, and this is a great opportunity of education. So just now we have seen another spectacular move, and this is a drastic pull-up in the air, and this is demonstrating this vertical maneuvering capability of the aircraft. All the tickets are sold online, and each day only 40,000 people could come inside the air show field, and you can see that this is such a marvelous performance. And this is the formation of 3. They are flying upward. This is another blossom of flower in the air by this formation of 3 aircrafts. So it's quite different watching this show physically on site, because when you are here on site, you can hear the engine roaring, you can see the smoke. But let me tell you, our viewers in front of computer screens or TV, they can also expect fantastic visual impact. So after dispersing, they will form 2 formations, each containing 2 aircraft, and then I believe 2 formations, each consisting of 2 aircraft. They will fly into one direction. All right, they are flying in each other's direction. On the other side, we have 2 aircrafts forming another formation, and later these 2 formations, they are going to fly in each other's direction. We saw the rendezvous of two aircrafts from the August 1st aerobatic teams. So this is 2x2 rendezvous in the air.
又在我们的正前方，哎呀，真漂亮，交会啊！在拉起的同时，还是有这种滚转啊，就是动作都是非常。
Fantastic rendezvous. They quickly pulled up while rolling over. Very coherent. So this is a very cool move for all the pilots. So we saw the fantastic flower blossom of 3 aircrafts and 4 aircrafts, and later we can expect a single aircraft movement in the air. So later we can expect also a formation of 7. Fantastic, and this is 2 aircrafts join the circle of a heart. All right, and this is the heart, and so where is the arrow? So the arrow is coming in from the right side. Fantastic. All right, the arrow pierced through the heart. Fantastic icon, fantastic move. And this is such a spectacular view in the air. So this is a very romantic move by the pilots. So this is the Cupid's arrow in the air. I believe it's a worthwhile trip for all those spectators who bought tickets online. Fantastic move. White smoke followed by yellow smoke. Fantastic. This is yet another curve in the air. Changing the moves in the air while changing the color of the smoke left behind. This is such a great, fantastic show of the aircraft in the air, and this is like the Chinese knots. They just waved in the air. I believe all the spectators, they are very lucky today. The smokes left behind those aircrafts, they form into different patterns and shapes in the air. After this single aircraft performance, I believe it will leave the airspace, and later we can expect the flyback of the 7 aircrafts. Very thick and white smoke left behind, followed by yellow-colored smoke. So designers of aircrafts, they are just amazing, and they helped manufacture the aircrafts and also another major components of the Air Force in China are those coaches, and because they shoulder the responsibility of fostering the next generation of pilots. And let me tell you that all the pilots in this Red Falcon Aerobatic Demonstration team, they are teachers teaching at the Air Force Aviation University. They are romantic as they are skilled, and they just saw the Cupid's arrow shape in the air. All right, this is the formation of 7, and this is their fantastic last move in the air. Beautiful.
合的表演动作结束了，开始进入到了最后一个环节，着陆。他们的着陆呢也延续了这种。
So now they are going to enter into the last stage, which is landing.
所以他们也是采用小航线快速落地的方式，体现
So for landing, they will copy some skills from August 1st Aerobatic Team. They will feature very steady moves and very quick landing. So when you are flying in a formation, you have to demonstrate this superb maneuvering capability because you have to bear in mind, you have to take into account the distance, the aerospace relationships of each aircraft in a formation, and when you are landing, you also need to demonstrate this very steady performance. After this aerial blossom in the air by the combination of 7, and later we can expect the landing of the 8 aircrafts one by one very quickly. You only see a few spectators right in the center, but let me tell you, under the shield there are a huge number of spectators because today it's very hot here, and many spectators they just stand in the shade to avoid the scorching heat. And this is the landing of first aircraft. So this is the red Falcon Air Demonstration Team, and it's affiliated to PLA, Air Force Aviation University, and these can trace back to the aviation school established by the Communist Party of China in 1946 in China's northeast. So this is the landing of the second aircraft. As I just mentioned, the Red Falcon belongs to the Air Force Aviation University, and it's a educational institution fostering excellent pilots in China. It's also demonstrating the great image of Air Force in China. In this year's air show, the Air Force is recruiting pilots. A lot of the parents, they are very interested, and they approached the recruitment desk. They consulted detailed information of the Air Force, and this shows their great interest in sending their children to Air Force Aviation University. A lot of the children, they have this dream of flying in the air. And especially after watching such fantastic and marvelous shows, our interest of flying is pushed to another height. Another successful landing of the aircraft, completing today's performance. So today we saw the formation of 8, 7, and 6, and 5 aircrafts. Fantastic moves in the air. The formations are in very good shape, very steady performance in the air, and this has demonstrated the amazing flying skills and maneuvering performance and capabilities of the aircraft. So they just landed one after another. So this is the end of the air show in China, and before we go, let's have a recap of those fantastic moments.